Alright, welcome back to the platform, everybody. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and help us to continue to grow. Today, we're going to put out 2 videos on the platform. We won't go live this morning because we got some other business going on, but we will catch up tomorrow morning live right here on this same show. Now, the 2 videos we're going to do today, I ask you please to watch those 2 videos. The first one is going to be about the migrants that are coming into the U.S. and they're getting housing vouchers and they're getting free food and health care and all this other stuff, and the disgruntled born Americans who are complaining about it. We're going to talk about that, and the second video we're going to do is about the level 3 travel advisory warning that the United States of America has put out against the island of Jamaica. Those 2 videos will be up today, and I want you to pay attention to both videos because, yeah, they will ruffle some feathers, but the truth has to be spoken, and this is what we do here. All right, let's start out with the migrants that are being treated pretty good in comparison to what a lot of Americans, born Americans, get. So, yesterday, this
Don't give a fuck about the motherfuckers that was born and fucking raised here. Y'all raised the fucking rich so fucking high. Can't afford to live here, but y'all gonna bring some other motherfuckers here? That doesn't fucking add up. It doesn't make no fucking sense. None. None. I'm fucking homeless. I work a full-time job, 40 hours. And can't pay to live here. How the fuck are y'all gonna bring somebody else here? Don't make no fucking sense. None. Right. Don't give a fuck about the motherfuckers that was born and fucking raised here.
All right.
Fucking rich. So fucking out.
This is a brother who's out in the streets, right? And the brother is out in the streets saying he works a 40-hour week, full-time job, and he can't even afford to live here. Yet there are, if you don't know what's going on in America right now, the borders have been opened, right? So under the Biden administration, they decided to open the borders and let hundreds of thousands of, probably even millions of immigrants into the United States of America. Some mayors for some cities, like the state of Florida, for instance, some governors for some states. The state of Florida is one where I live. DeSantis is our governor. And also Texas governor said, if you open those borders and let all these people in, don't expect us to keep them here, because I'm not keeping them here in our state, right? We have the right to turn them around. Okay, they fought with it. Then you have people like the mayor of New York or governor of New York that goes, send them. We want them here. We're good heart, clean people, loving people. So they took the states to court and they won, and the people were able to come in, and the borders have remained open. This is why y'all see all these videos with hundreds of thousands of people just crossing the border, just coming on over into the United States of America. You're wondering what the hell is going on and where are they going? Who's going to house them? Well, states like Florida and Texas, they put these people on a bus and they send their ass to the states where the governors and the mayors in those states are saying, send them, we want them. So for one, it is your elected officials in places like New York that have asked for this. And the other states who are overran with these migrants that send them to you, they made it clear they didn't want this in the first place. Now, with that said, just giving you an insight into where we're going with this and how this is happening. So now what we have here now is you have Americans who are born and raised in America who cannot afford to live where they live in their cities, because cities like New York, the rent is gone out the roof. It's crazy what they've done to the rent. It's like there's no cap on how high the rent can go. So a landlord can get extra greedy and be like, I want $2,000 a month for this 1-bedroom apartment. And then he gets that, and 6 months later or a year later, he could be like, I'm raising the rent. I want $2,500 a month. And a year later, he could be like, I want $4,500 a month. A year later, he could be like, I want $6,000 a month for this 1-bedroom apartment. There is no cap on it. So hard-working, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens are becoming homeless. And while they're becoming homeless because they cannot afford to live in that city, even though they work a full-time job and it's not enough to pay where they live, here comes the migrants. These people who've been coming over the border because the border is wide open. So the migrants are coming in, and your mayor and your city councilmen and leaders, they're telling them, come on in, we've got space for you. While they're doing that, they are using hotels, they're using apartment buildings, apartments, making deals with the people who own the apartment buildings and making deals with the hotels to house all these people. And all these migrants that are running across the border are coming here and they're being housed for free. They don't have to get up and go to work to pay a rent. They get free housing. And now New York City Mayor just said they're working on a $53 million voucher program that is supposed to be distributed amongst 500 of these families. 500 families. I'm not good at math, right? But if you break down 53 million to be distributed amongst 500, how much do you think each family is going to get? Right. So now these families just came here with nothing. They get $53 million distributed amongst 500 of them. And he said if it works out good, they're going to go into a bigger program where they give more money to more families, go from 500 to 5,000 families. And these vouchers are supposed to, it's supposed to be a prepaid credit card that's supposed to be able to buy them like food, clothing, baby supplies like diapers, wipes, formula, all that other stuff in their day-to-day food. Meanwhile, I'm saying to myself, and I'm not oblivious, but I'm going to tell you where the problem is, right? So I'm not oblivious to the struggle. The first thing I said was, damn, these people are coming in to the United States of America. When I say these people, I mean migrants. They're coming into the United States of America. They're getting all this free stuff, yet America says it has, like, where's reparations for, let's say, those African Americans? Where are their reparations? Their ancestors built this. Brute force, blood, sweat, and tears. Where is their reparations? And instead of like putting them on a better level, leveling the playing field, they have gone and brought in foreigners and are giving them all this resources. So now you have our African American brother here out in the streets saying, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. You guys care more about these migrants than you care about us who were born and raised here. I work a full 40-hour week and I'm homeless. I can't afford to live in this city because the rent's gone through the roof here. And you guys are housing these people for free. You can see how he would be bitter, right? Right. This is where I run into a problem now on social media. This is what I said. I said, did you go back to school and earn a degree or maximize the opportunities that were provided to you from birth? Learn a skilled trade. Elevate yourself. Open a business. Work 80 hours per week and save your money and flip it into a long-term plan. American-born people overlook so many opportunities until they see immigrants coming in. I am not for the overcrowding and the opening up of the borders for every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I am not for housing and feeding all these strange people while your own people hurt and starve and are in need. But now is the time for you to look at all the things you who were born here could have done to secure yourself a better life. You know, I got people cussing me out for this comment. Mind you, I clearly said I'm not for the overcrowding and the opening of the borders for every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and the housing and feeding of all these strange people while your own people hurt and starve. I clearly said that in the same comment, but for the fact that I said, now is the time for you to actually look at yourself and say, I'm 50 years old. I've been here since the day I was born. In my 50 years of living in the US, so many opportunities were afforded to me, starting from school days. How did I end up here at 50 years old working a minimum wage job, not being able to afford a decent place to live in my city? And now it angers me because I'm homeless and I see migrants coming in and they're being housed. And I can't even pay my rent and I work 40 hours a week. You know, I myself, I'm an immigrant. If you see that flag behind me, that flag has a half a Jamaican on it and it has a half an American on it, right? But what you don't see is if I put my camera up further, you will see a U.S. Army Infantry Combat Badge. In one of my comments, I said, in one of these replies to me, one lady said, "Get the fuck out of here. Who wants to work an 80-hour week?" Somebody who doesn't want to be homeless. That was my answer. Somebody who does not want to be homeless. Nobody wants to work an 80-hour week. But a lot of people come here and figured that, hey, if I work an 80-hour week, 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs, 40 hours apiece, I'm not going to get enough sleep. And yet this is not good for my health either. But I don't plan on doing this forever. So, for my African American brothers and sisters who are feeling disgruntled and feeling like, or just for my Americans, period, not even African Americans, because African Americans right now are in a place where they don't even know who they are, right? 1 minute you're African American, the next minute is don't call me no African American, drop the African, I'm just American because I don't know nothing about Africa. So you got some saying I'm African American, you got some saying I'm just American, you got some saying I'm American African, you got some saying this. First of all, right, people will never get reparations if they don't know who they are. I'm just saying, look at the people who have gotten their reparations and continue to get big amounts of money. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Don't you notice that they know exactly who they are? Even when you say that's not who they are, they stick to being one thing, and that's who they are. So with that said and that out the way, right, here's the story. As a person who came here at 8 years old, at a time when I didn't have a choice if I wanted to leave my birth country, my parents had already migrated and they came back to get us. And when they came, they asked, do you want to stay or do you want to go? I said, I want to stay. My dad said, you don't have a choice. You have to come. So grab some stuff and let's go. And I ended up in the United States of America, 8 years old. I made the best of it. When I came to the United States of America, nobody gave us anything. We didn't get anything for free. My mom worked 3 jobs. 3 jobs is something that the average born and raised American citizen will not do. 3 jobs. Yeah. And back then, In Living Color was on television, and they used to make fun of us. Ah, man, I work in 3 jobs like a Jamaican man, right? I watched my mom work 3 jobs. One person. And I'll tell you how she did it if you think I'm lying. She had a 9 to 5, and then she had another job on the weekend where she did a live-in situation, home health care attendant. So 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And every night after her 9 to 5, she would get off at 5 in the evening or 4 in the evening, and she would head to her evening job at Macy's and Dillard's and these places in the mall. and she would be there packing clothes, stacking the racks, making the store look good from 5 till closing. She would come home at after closing, so she'll get home at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then she'll have to wake up to go back to work to her office job in the morning, right? And that's her 9 to 5, that's 2. And then on the weekends, she didn't work those 2 jobs because she had the weekends off, so she would work a live-in job that started Friday evening, where she would relieve somebody else, and then she would be the home health attendant all the way back to Monday morning. This is how my mama worked 3 jobs, right? So when I look at opportunities, sometimes these opportunities don't even look like opportunities. This is what I'm trying to tell my brothers and sisters here who are African American or American African or Black American that are complaining that these people are getting everything and we have to work so hard and still can't afford nothing. Make it make sense. For one, you're not going to change the system. These people are doing what they want to do, and you just have to survive in it. So the best thing you can do is sacrifice something to make something, right? That's just some advice. 2, the opportunities that are in front of you, they may look ugly. They may look like 80-hour weeks, and it looks unattractive, and you're telling me, who wants to work 80 hours a week? A lot of us did. A lot of us immigrants came here and worked 80 hours a week. A lot of us immigrants came here and worked the jobs that you, born, bred Americans, did not want to work. You didn't want to be flipping people and cleaning booty and cleaning doodle from another human being and cleaning up vomit and all that. You didn't want to be mopping the floors in some of these places and picking up garbage and doing all that other stuff. You didn't want to be in the back of somebody's restaurant or in the back of somebody's store working for half of minimum wage. You didn't want to be doing all that, but we did. You understand? Just like today still. No born, bred American wants to be out in those fields picking those fruits and vegetables. You see your cucumbers, your tomatoes, your carrots, your lettuce, your cabbages, all these fruits and vegetables you see in your grocery store, somebody is picking those and are living in conditions that you would never. But you look at it as low, demeaning, I can do better than that, or they could give me something. The people who are doing that, they look at it as an opportunity to take themselves to a better place, and they do. When you see immigrants or when you see migrants or immigrants come here and they start off working, everybody in one house. Now you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and you got 12 people living in it. Or you got 12 people living in a 1-bedroom house. Some sleeping on the floor in the living room. Some sleeping on the floor in the dining area. Hell, you got people in the hallway. You got 1 bathroom in there and they got to rotate out how they use that 1 bathroom. They understand that that situation will not be forever because they pool their resources together and then they start a business. For instance, I'll give you a good example, a roofing construction company. They'll start a roofing company because that's what they know how to do, is to replace roofs. They go around flipping roofs. It's $10,000 a roof. They flip the roofs. They flip the roofs. They pool their money together. They start opening different businesses. They start purchasing cheap houses in the area. Now we have 2 houses. Now we have 3 houses, 4 houses, 5 houses. Now, before you know it, in a 10-year space time, and 10 years goes by fast. In a 10-year space time, every one of those individuals from that group of 12 owns a friggin' house. Yeah, that part. So it's the things that you didn't want to do. And let me say this. I came here 8 years old. I was in school. So I was schooled in the system here. I saw it all too many times. Born, bred Americans shit on every opportunity that came their way. You could have studied in school and earned yourself a scholarship to a good college or university, full ride, full paid. You could have excelled in academics or athletics. You could have buckled down and went into some training and excelled that way. You could have done, you were the cool guy in school. You were the guy who didn't care about what anybody else had to say because you had to be funny. You had to get all the girls. You had to dress the flyest. You got on Jordans and shoes that I couldn't afford and my mama couldn't afford. We were the ones that used to come to school in knockoff name brands, and you were the ones that used to laugh at us, right? Go back to Africa, they would tell us. They used to tell me, take your ass back to Haiti, boy. And I would say, I'm not Haitian, I'm Jamaican. And they'll be like, we don't give a fuck, it's the same shit. Get the fuck out of here, get back on your banana boat. Imagine being here and hearing that. And I was hearing that from my African Americans, right? I never heard it from white people. I heard it from my African Americans. Get your ass back on your banana boat. Get the fuck out of here. And all along, I said to myself, I gotta make my situation better. So I studied in school. I gotta make my situation better. So I got on the debate team. I gotta make my situation better. So I got on the track and field team. I gotta make my situation better. I ended up going to college on a half athletic, half academic scholarship. Yes. So I'm just saying that all these opportunities that were provided to you before, now is the time for you to look at yourself and be like, I'm 50 years old, I'm out in the streets, or I'm 45, whatever you are, because this brother who's speaking, he has he has a lot of gray beard. He looks about 45, 50, I'm giving him. So I'm saying, it's a time to look at yourself. It's a time to say to yourself, how many of these opportunities have I wasted to the point that I'm now out in the streets working a 40-hour week, can't pay for where I live at, and I'm mad. I'm mad at these migrants that are coming in. You got to think like a migrant. Shit's messed up in their country. They're trying to escape to somewhere better, and that somewhere better opened their doors and said, come on in. If you were them, you would go right on in. And then when you got there, they said to you, hey, we're going to house you over here because we don't want you on our streets. You don't give a damn that they're taking money from taxpayers' money to house you. All you care is you're not on the streets of this new country that you just ran into. The whole world wants to come to America to accomplish the American dream. Their idea of what America is seen through television, films, and whatever else, and on social media, right? Everything is grandiose and big. Everybody has nice cars and nice houses and this and that. People are hurting on the outside. So when the door opens up for them to come in, don't think they're going to be like, I'm stopping right here because those black Americans or African Americans, they have to get their reparations first. Or I'm stopping right here because the poor little white girl that was born in the USA, that's from wherever, she needs help more than I do. That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, come in, maximize the potential, and make something out of myself, right? So I close this video by saying this. I completely understand where the rage, anger might be coming from. That you are working a 40-hour week, full-time job, and you're still homeless. But check it. I've volunteered at the pantries before. America doesn't leave anybody on the streets homeless. People leave themselves on the streets homeless. They told me to my face. They said, look, we want to be out here because most of us are on drugs. And it's a choice, right? We don't have to go get a 9-to-5 like you. This is me volunteering at the pantry while I was in school, right? We want to be out on these streets. So we thank you for giving us, treating us human. And I volunteered at the pantry in my city. The pantry has, how do you call it? Buffet style breakfast with everything there. Eggs, sausage, French toast, syrup, this, that, and the other, cereal, blah. The pantry is laid out and stacked. That's for breakfast. There's no lunch. But when they leave after breakfast, they all have their backpacks or the food is packed up for them. They give people a whole thing of lunch meat, a whole loaf of bread, things of mayo and mustard and all that to make sandwiches. They take fruits and vegetables, put it in their bag. That's your lunch, right? And then they come back for dinner, which is laid out again, buffet style. Look like an all-you-can-eat buffet. So nobody is going hungry out here unless they want to. The people who you see on the streets, that's another thing. The people you see on the streets holding a card saying, I'm hungry, we'll work for food, or I need something to eat. they are people who usually are on drugs, and they really don't want the food. They really want the money, because they know where to find a pantry if they're homeless and hungry in their city. And then there are shelters, and there are shelters everywhere, and multiple shelters in every city. And again, you can complain and say, I don't want to be in a shelter and I'd rather stay out on the streets. Well, that's your preference, because the shelters have rules and they don't want to follow the rules. You can't go stumbling into a shelter, staggering drunk. You can't go in there acting belligerent because you're stupid high off K2 or heroin or whatever it is you're smoking or whatever it is you're addicted to, so they don't want to be in the shelter. I find a lot of excuses are made, right? There are resources there for people who are born and raised here. You don't use your resources, then you complain. That's the problem. In closing this video, I will say this. Make it clear. I understand how you would feel that way, seeing people get all this stuff. Like, you can't afford to live in that building because they have raised the rent to about $3,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, but migrants are coming in, and your government says nothing about the rent being raised on a one-bedroom to $3,000 a month, forcing you into the streets. But they're putting these migrants in that same $3,000 a month apartment and paying for it for them. That would anger the shit out of me too. But you know what? Again, the opportunities available to you. There are many other states available that, and I know it sounds bad, but there are many other, not bad, but it sounds like they're forcing you out of your city. They're forcing you out of where you're connected to. You lived here your whole life, you want to stay here. There are many other states you could go to where the rent is not $3,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. The name of the game is survival, man. The name of the game is survival. And it comes down to you and how you're going to survive. Standing there being bitter at migrants coming in, standing out in the middle of the street screaming about how this is unfair, it's not going to fix anything for you. At all. At all. And again, I grew up here. And I saw who wasted opportunities because they were so privileged. They were born with it. For those of us who weren't born with it, some of us, our parents had to come here illegally first. And we're not talking about crossing the border. We're talking about they'll come come on a visitor's visa or come on a work visa and then run off. And then they'll go sleep in a car, sleep on the streets, get molested, abused, raped, beaten, threatened, run to another state, set up shop, you know, work 3 jobs, work under the table. Some of them had to do all that. And then when they finally, like through an amnesty or something like that, got their paperwork straight, got married to somebody, got their paperwork straight, they went back to their homeland and got us and brought us to a more stable situation. So the struggle has always been real, and it doesn't stop, it continues. I just want y'all to understand, for those of you who are in a position to maximize every opportunity you have around you that were born here, some of these opportunities are not available to anybody else except for American citizens born here. Maximize your opportunities, and then you won't be complaining so much, or you won't be feeling the brunt so much. I'll close this video right here. Have a wonderful day. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And again, this wasn't meant to trigger anybody into any bad feelings. It's just me explaining what's going on, how we play a part in it, and what you could have done and what you still could do to make yourself not feel the brunt so much. I'm out. Peace. Listen, it's 2024, okay, and the world is different. You can actually have a date with somebody in a completely different Caribbean country. Say, for instance, you are in Jamaica and you are looking for a fine Trinidadian woman, or a woman from Grenada or Guyana or Antigua or Barbuda. Same thing for the women. You might be a Jamaican woman living in Jamaica, but you are into Trinidadian men or men from Barbados or other parts of the Caribbean. Well, look no further. 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time. Tune in as Scotch Bonnet and Time goes live on the channel called Scotch Bonnet and Time. It's a dating affair for the Caribbean audience, linking all the Caribbean countries together. The only requirements are that you are at least 20 years old. That means you have 2 years of experience or more. And come on in and have some fun. Do you have what it takes to spice up somebody else's life? Let's see. See you there, 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time on the YouTube channel called Scotch Bonnet and Time as they go live. Come see if you can meet your special person. See you then. So we got a couple of things going on the channel. For one, shout out to the people who have their membership. If you have your membership for SouFLoTV, then you know that you are able to go in the chat section when we go live. Every time we go live, it's your privilege, right? Also, it's just another level of support. So shout out to the people who have that. For those who don't have it, we encourage you to get your membership to the channel, right? On top of that, there are other things going on over here as well, like promotion. So if you have a business, whatever business it may be, whether it's a brick and mortar business or it's a online business, we can promote that business for you right here. This channel gains about roughly 1,000 new subscribers every 30 days. 1,000 new subscribers every 30 days. We are now past 360,000 subscribers and counting. So it's a good place for you to put your business before the eyes of the audience, especially if your business has anything to do with the Caribbean, right? And reach out. Just reach out to us and we'll put something together for you. I have packages that can fit everybody's budget and we can all get along. If that's the word I'm supposed to use, get along. But everybody can eat a food, basically, right? So again, regardless of whatever your business is, just remember that I do promotions over here on SouFLoTV. So reach out, let me get your package together, whether you're a musician, putting out a new project, an album, a single, if you run a tailor shop, if you run a restaurant, if you run whatever the case may be, if you're a DJ and you a disc jockey who play at parties, your services could be available, advertise here, whatever the case may be, I got you, all right? And again, shout out to the people who subscribe to the channel every time you, or hit the thumbs up every time you watch a video, and shout out to the people who are subscribed to the channel. Big up to the people who come through and don't subscribe but they watch the content anyways. You don't think a time for you to subscribe now? Eh? You don't think it's time for you to subscribe now? A time for you to subscribe now, man. Hit the subscribe button right down there, so yeah, and click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. Alright, my SouFLoTV audience, anybody who knows me knows that I come from the rural parts of Jamaica where it's dark in those hills. And from I was a child until now, government still has not installed any street lights in some of the darkest corners of Jamaica. But guess what? We are doing it for ourselves. Just link up with Soninka Limited because these solar powered street lights are powerful. They are commercial grade, remote controlled, they are waterproof, and did I mention that they are solar powered? So you don't have to wait on JPS, you don't have a bill to pay. These are powered by God's Son. Yes, and you stay on the ground and you remote control it to the brightness of your liking and all these things. Light up your lanes and streets and farms and corners and areas and be safe. All the information needed is on the screen, and Soninka deals with your installation and everything. Call them right now and get yourself out of the darkness and into the light, and tell them that SouFLoTV sent you. All right.